and thank you for giving me the opportunity to addressing
The process of updating our economic model opens up new opportunities for Cubans living abroad to participate in our social and economic development. This will be in place, in effect, as soon as we end up with our legislative schedule that is working on passing new laws that will encourage small and medium-sized enterprises and also the local projects of development in which the Cubans residents abroad are interested in to participate. This is something that has been asked to us for them since all our encounters in the past, and now we are in the possibility of open this door. It's not that it's not something that is being done specifically for Cuban living abroad, but for all our citizens and for our economy, for the development of our economy, in which the political principle is not to exclude any of our nationals, those living in a permanent basis abroad, and those also that thanks to the recent migratory regulations, the changes in our regulatory measures that allowed people to establish long stays abroad, more than 24 months, and at the same time maintain their residence in Cuba. In fact, that implies all political and economic rights of the citizen.
The question is why legal instruments are needed.
Well, every investment would also demand an adequate legal frame in order to work properly. Actually, in the present legislation, it's not excluded the possibility of Cubans investing in our economy. The fact is that the kind of projects that we are promoting demand a size of investments that is not the one that Cubans living abroad are interested in. They are more interested in local projects, municipalities, development of family business, small and medium enterprises.
But could you explain to us why those people want to divide Cubans, families, and even the people, like you were saying before, the government allowed them to come back because they're living abroad, to come back and invest in Cuba.
The relation between the nation and Cuba and the Cubans living abroad is a process that goes back to the 70s when Comandante en Jefe Fidel Castro established the first dialogues, historic point that mark a change, a shift in the kind of relation, and it's a process, a continuing, ongoing process that goes up to today with two Nación y Emigración conferences and permanent dialogue. I think that the most interesting, although all these conferences and big encounters have a special appeal in us and also in the migrants, I think that the most important is the permanent dialogue. Going up to this government in which a policy is established from the very beginning, in which every leader that goes out, that goes abroad and to its official travels and so, will have to have a meeting with Cuban living abroad, and this has been accomplished properly. In these dialogues, the possibility and the demand of the possibility of participating in our economic development is arised by the Cubans resident abroad. But these dialogues are not only about economy or about politics. We talk about educational projects, cultural. Recently we had a very interesting festival of Cuban living abroad in which many of more than 100 of them participated, over 40 countries gathered together in a virtual way, because now in these times this is what is possible, but the idea is to have it here. There are different aspects, and the most important is that even the political participation of the migrant is not a taboo subject for our government. It's proven that in the process of the constitution, the participation of the Cubans living abroad. They had the opportunity to, along with the Cuban people, to establish the documents and make remarks and critiques about the documents we received them from over 130 countries. So to reunite all the Cubans, that is evident that you will need to respect our sovereignty, and we also want to fight against the embargo, which is the main cause of disruption in our in every aspect of our lives. All the economic measures, the more than 243 measures taken by the Trump administration to take a part in that, also the blockade, but there is a wider system in which spurious lists like the terrorist countries and so, that we are unjustifiedly included all the time by the government of the United States, are responsible for the fact that we don't have the possibility to have regular banking institution related to our countries, because all banks think twice, three times and 10 times before making a transaction with Cuba, because they are subject to a lot of restrictions and punishment, and they are widely known, all the sanctions that are imposed on the banks that dare to make transactions with Cuba. It's an international system, and it's not only the Cubans living in the United States that are affected by the fact that the remittance does not arrive directly. This is something extraterritorial and goes all over the world. And this is a cruel measure that goes directly into the people, into the Cuban people, and in this moment of the pandemic, it goes even more unexplainable. It's cynical. It's cynical and unfair to try to blame Cuban government, because I say that because it's the speech of the present administration, to try to blame us for not allowing the remittances to get to the people, because it's a fact, and it's clear and it's well known all over the world that we are subject to sanctions from the United States. Will try to provoke the suffering and the despair of the Cuban people in order to create a chaos that will justify an humanitarian intervention. We in these days saw the guidelines of these politics being executed openly, so you know exactly what I mean. Feel all the time compelled to make this correction, because migration is a human right and is established and guaranteed by our constitution and by all our legislation. So people who are involved in illegal treat of persons between countries, and so they are victims. They are not to be victimized by being called illegal to time. And I mean, they suffer already for all this process, and we do not agree with this kind of language. So what we call is irregular, because they are irregular because of the limits that the countries establish to the migration. Our policy is to have respect the right of every citizen to migrate, and do it in a safe ordinated way. So we don't want people to be involved in this kind of situations, but once they are, we don't think they should be twice victimized by being called illegal. That we are a nation of migrants. For more than a century, or for almost a century now, our migration rates is of a country of us a country of migrants. So that's a fact, and we have to deal with it. And our government has established safe ways to migrate, but we have agreements with the United States in order to guarantee these rights of the people. They are not being accomplished. The United States also closes all consular service here in Cuba as a part by the Trump administration in order to further punish our people, and they are obliged to go through a third country. That's already that, and without the guarantee of that visa will be approved or not. That already puts our people in a fragile situation in order to regularly migrate. So we think that is all that is behind irregular migration in Cuba, because for many years now we have a steady measures in order to guarantee and to facilitate the possibility for people to go away, to go abroad, and also to come back when they want to and re-establish and settle here in Cuba. That's the policy that is in place at the present. Of course, there are still things that need to be done, and we're working on it. And on that, we always say, look at the past and see how we have been given answers to all of the demands about the migratory issues. So we will continue in that direction. There is no intention for the government to change that.